So when you're talking about the value of liberal arts, like in Japan, it's very much an education where we are very much focused on learning basic skills, accounting, English, a certain score that's very measurable, that's easy to grade, it's very one size fits all. There's very little attention to thinking outside of the box, to having some kind of a curiosity, an awareness of an ability to put things in a bigger perspective, to develop some human skills, to know how to engage and to where to push, where to pull, and to actually find your way. So to be creative beyond the scope of your accounting skills, but actually be creative and deal with any kind of problem that you will encounter in your life. That's the value of liberal arts, and I don't think the Japanese educational system is doing anything about that. That is different from the European.
What's the difference among European and Japanese education?
I think European education, and I'm not talking about lower education, but I'm talking about the better schools, the schools that produce the people that you would normally engage with if you are doing business overseas. The better schools give more attention about the why question. Why are things the way that they are? Letting people think individually, and learning them to think outside of the box, teaching them how to think outside of the box, and to get a bigger perspective. Not only teaching them things that will be graded, but things that will be useful and beneficial for the rest of their lives. And nowadays, education, like not has how I enjoyed it, but how our younger generation is enjoying it, is put all the education in a context. So it's not just maths, but maths applied to our daily lives. How does it fit into our daily lives? What is the point of me studying maths if I don't use it? Now, nowadays, the education is more about how does math apply to our daily lives, and how can I make sense of it all, so that math will become a tool to solve daily life problems. I think that kind of awareness will create a bigger, this education will drive us even further away from Japan. Japan is still very much focused on basic skills, the things that are graded. I think nowadays, when we look at the excellence of Asian education, we are completely ignoring the fact that this education is very dry and very isolated and just can be fit into a little box and can be graded and easily understood. But it completely ignores the bigger picture, because are people actually more effective using the skills that they acquired without any liberal arts, without any perspective outside of this little box? You just create like academics, a basic skill that people really do not know how to fit into their daily lives.
Like a Japanese university, in many cases, this kind of ballet. You understand ballet?
No.
This it's like a dessert.
Dessert.
Dessert. It's kind of nothing interesting,
Right. Right.
You said basics, right?
Right.
How come they're doing kind of sort of things, teaching?
The more you mean the which teaching, more the integrated teaching or the integrated? How come? Because they see that actually in our educational system, a lot of kids, they missed out.
Kids, you mean university?
No, or university or kids. Actually, now it already starts at a very early age. My niece is going to a school that everything is not taught as a subject. They do projects, and every project has elements like biology and history and geography. It's all included in that project. They don't teach the subjects one by one. They teach.
Somebody take responsibility for teaching it?
Yeah, sure. This is the school, this educational program has been
It's kind of generalist, right?
It's generalist, but it's not only generalist. It doesn't teach to people to qualify for the entrance test. It teaches people to actually give them a skill and a mindset that they learn things, how to deal with daily life later on. And it's not an inferior way of teaching. I think it gives people a much better understanding because it's much closer to your personal experience. I mean, when I went to university, in my first year of university, I remember I was learning about marketing.
What?
Marketing. Marketing. And I thought, what the fuck? Huh? Marketing? I never actually worked in a company. And I didn't know anything about how companies sell. I didn't know anything about these things. And I was learning about marketing. Marketing was so far away from my world. It was very abstract. And I thought, forget it. If I'm going to learn something abstract, then I might as well do something like that is intellectually challenging, like more scientific. Because marketing for me is not a science. It's just, okay, it's something that, skill that you develop. But it was too far away from my experience. So I gave up on marketing. I went to a different direction. But that kind of teaching, more and more that educators became aware of that gap. That if we teach kids something that they cannot identify with, or students that they cannot identify, that is far away from their experience, it's not effective. In Germany, for example,
That's not effective.
Not effective.
Teaching marketing not effective.
No, not if you have never worked in a company or you never had any problem selling any products. In Germany, when a lot of people when they leave their high school, they start to work for 2 years, 3 years, and then they go back to university because they want to see the business world. They want to be inside and actually know how it all fits together. If you never worked inside a company and you learn about organization change, or you learn about marketing, or you learn about finance, it doesn't make any sense to you, right? So in Germany, they encourage kids to actually work and in a company for 2 years and then come back and go to university. I think that completely makes sense.
Oh, it's a strange way Accenture did for me.
Oh.
You know, after you graduate university, joining company, and they very much investment for the employees.
Right.
And they teaching the kind of sort of things after some experience.
But don't you feel that it's much easier to grasp the ideas?
Yes, clever way.
Right. Right.
Clever way.
Right. But this is not what we do in the Japanese education system. We actually teach kids how to pass the entrance exam, and the entrance exam is very much like focused on reproduction.
Okay, my experience is just brand new people who are joined after company 5 years is good, but after 10 years, after 10, 20 years, nobody teach you what is the right direction.
Right.
That is the problem. Okay, just you just wide the perspective, but student or just experienced student, or experienced or business student, it's okay. Okay, 25 years, 30 years old, but for 40 years, and after 40 years, what kind of, perspective, broader, wider perspective, deep insight, who is going to give them for that kind of experience? None. This is the problem what I'm thinking about. How do you think? Just your education, liberal arts, but liberal arts is, my concern is not young people, it's middle-aged people. No liberal arts education. They got in problem, in trap. Who's going to tell you? Who's going to teach them?
Right. Right. Because the only thing that they learn is mathematics, but they don't know exactly how mathematics is going to get them out of
They
trouble.
got a claim from a client. How they going to solve it? They have human relation trust problem, but how they going to solve it?
No,
Nobody
they don't
teach
know.
them. Right?
Don't know.
But
this kind of education is what we Europeans are getting into to the good schools in Europe.
How are you going to do it? So middle-aged people, or 30s, 40s, 50s.
Right.
Who's going to teach them in Europe?
In Europe?
Yeah.
So actually, like, liberal arts is I think that there is a gap there, honestly. Like, so basically, when we go through school, after the age of 12, already education is being split up. And then you have people who learn a job, like hands-on skill. They become a plumber or a construction worker or whatever. So they learn things how to basically make a living. But there is no additional education. There is not really, and I'm talking about the current generation, the ones who went to the same system as I went through. But nowadays, actually, our kids, the kids who are between 6 and 12, they also already get this kind of project education.